Okay, I always start this section with the debt clock because, you know, a lot of people don't even know how much the United States is in debt. As you can see, that is $19 trillion. And you can go back in time and you can see what the debt was in 1980, 868 billion. You can see what it was in 1990, hit the 2 trillion mark. 2000, 5 trillion. 2004, 7 trillion. Well, we're getting there. You'll hold on a minute. 2008, it was at 9 or 10, right at 10 trillion. Now, so far, it's been going up about 2 trillion since 2000, about 2 trillion. And then, boom, went up 15 trillion. So it's gone up 5 trillion in 2012. And in the next 4 years, from 2012 to 2016, went up to 20. So from 2008 at 10 trillion to 2016, it went up $10 trillion. It's been going up about 2 trillion every year, 2 to 3 trillion. So somebody spent a lot of money. He wasn't even elected. Well, now you can go back. You know, you can go back and say he wasn't even elected in 2008 and 2012. So if it wasn't for 2008 and 2012, we would be probably around 10 trillion, maybe 11. So, but you see all the green is what's coming in. If you see green is what's coming in, and here's your Social Security and Medicaid, that's gray, because that's money they use. What happened to Easley?
It keeps going off.
Okay, just bear with us. If you could just keep turning it on, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. The gray is money that's going to be spent later, but they use it now. It's kind of like your savings account. You're going to use it later, but you spend on it every now and then. You put it back. That's kind of like what the gray is. So red means in debt, green means money coming in, and gray means money used for later, but we use it now. So that's a little bit. In 2024, it's supposed to go up to 30. And what is it now? 2016, it's 19. So they expect in the next 4 years it's going to go up even more. Now that will be Trump's fault, because that's his fault. But everything's Trump's fault. Look over here. The U.S. population, 323 million. Creepy Joe said over 150 million have been killed by guns. That's half our population. It wasn't 150 million. Creepy Joe gets his days and facts mixed up every now and then. So half the population was not killed by guns. Okay, we still have 300 million in the United States. U.S. income taxpayers, look at there. Half of the nation pays taxes. Now that should bother you. It should be 3/4 of the nation, because not everybody has kids. So that means, let's say there's 1/4 of the population that doesn't even pay taxes. The U.S. workforce, half the population again. Not in the labor force. 94 million. Officially unemployed. Look at that number. Actual unemployed. Now, what does that mean? Actually, unemployed means these people don't have jobs. Officially unemployed means those people have put in for what?
Unemployment.
Unemployment benefits. So you got some numbers over here you need to be looking at. Living in poverty. Now let's look at that. Living in poverty and food stamp recipients. Let's look at that back in 2000. So living in poverty, 32 million and 17 million. Everybody with me? Let's see 2008. Okay, what was it? 2000? 2004. 2004, I done lost. 36 million and 23 million. What's it doing? It's going up. Let's look at 2008. 37 million, 29 million. 37 and 29. What was that? 2008? 2012. 46 million. 46 million. 2016. 46 million, 46 million. 2020. Where is it? Y'all quit whispering. That's starting to get on my nerves. Y'all not listening. We could start doing math. I can't even find it. They changed the... Where is it?
Oh, there it is.
Where?
The third one to the right.
Third one to the right. That's millionaires.
The food stamp.
Food stamp. What happened? It's going down. Wow. Wait a minute. If it's going down, then whose fault is that? If it's going down from 2016 to 2020, I guess that's Biden's fault. Living in poverty, what did it do? It's going down too. Wow. Looks like it went down, what, 10 million? Am I mistaken? It went down 10 million? Well, now, why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this because I guarantee you there's somebody in one of these rooms that had no idea this existed. You know why? Because knowledge is power, and they don't want you to know this. Because what would happen if you knew this? You would be a little bit more what?
Smarter.
Concerned, wouldn't you? And they don't want you to be concerned. Who's they? I don't know who they is. But I know one thing. I know when you graduate high school, you don't even know this exists. How many of you, easily, how many of you knew this existed on the internet? How about you, Pendleton? I can't see but 4 people in easily, so.
One person in here knew about it.
One person. How about easily? How many of you seen this before? Where did y'all see it?
I saw it in my math class. Yeah.
In which math class? High school or college?
I saw it in pre-cal in high school.
Wow, good for your teacher. How about Pendleton? Where did you see it?
We saw it in high school. We both saw it in high school.
Okay, what class?
My pre-cal class, actually.
Good.
And he said social studies.
Okay, what about here? Anybody? Where did you see it? Your ag teacher? What about your econ teacher? Your econ teacher should have showed you this.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, and did she go back in time and look at 2008, 2012? Yeah, that's when everything went up. Anyway. So you can find a lot of information on here, especially on unemployment, and you start to see that there's a lot of people that are unemployed, but they're not getting official benefits. Why do you think that is? Because they don't want unemployment benefits. They want what? They want to get a job. Maybe. I don't know. Why aren't they taking official benefits? That's a little bit of stuff you should know. Now, this goes into today's, debt and what? Debt and bringing in money, income. Now again, I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but there's a lot of people that don't know jack about this stuff. Y'all see it when y'all are talking about your budget projects, which I will tell you hopefully when I find out when it's due. I don't know when it's due, maybe by the end of this unit, I don't know. But they're still sending me emails and I don't know. I'm just going to give y'all a grade and they're talking about a rubric and all this stuff. I don't know what they're talking about. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started on the budget thing so we all can get together on it. A lot of people don't do these things, and this is just common what?
Sense.
Common sense. Know your bank account. Now it's easier. Now you want to talk about aggravating. Before the phone came out, it was a pain in the butt to keep your bank account balanced. It was a pain because you had to wait on checks and you had to wait on deposits to go through. It was a pain. Now you just look on because everything's real what? Everything's real time. When you go go out to eat or go out and buy something, in a few seconds it's on your phone what you bought. So you don't have to really pay, you don't have to really do anything with your, bank account except look online. Avoid bouncing a check. A lot of people don't even do that anymore. Because you have what? What do you have at the bank?
Debit card.
Dang on, well, you have overdraft. Overdraft protection. Dang on, mine's always active. Mine's always dipping into the overdraft. Okay, especially toward the end of the month, because I get paid once a month. If I don't sell any steers, I ain't got no money. So I have to wait till the steers get grown enough, so that's when I have money. But avoid bouncing a check or having a debit card rejected. Now, when you have a debit card rejected, that's embarrassing. Okay? So don't do that. Always keep money in the bank. If you stay on a beer budget, you'll always have money in the bank. If you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, then you're always going to be having problems. Know what you spend. In particular, keep track. It's kind of like what you eat. Have you ever kept track of what you eat or what you spend during the day? It brings awareness to what you spend, especially with the Starbucks and the QT and the McDonald's and stuff like that you don't even keep aware of. All right? Don't buy on impulse. What's the first rule of buying groceries? First rule of buying groceries at the grocery store.
Don't go hungry.
Y'all's parents really suck. Y'all know that? Y'all don't know the first rule of buying groceries? Never go to the grocery store when you're hungry. Now, why does that have to do with that third law? Don't buy on impulse. If you go to the grocery store when you're hungry, you're going to be buying everything. Little Debbie's, dadgum chips, dadgum cheese, dadgum everything. But if you don't go to the grocery store hungry, you're not going to buy on impulse. Stay away from Walgreens, Dollar General, and Walmart, and Target. Why? Because they make you buy on what? Impulse.
Impulse.
They put everything in front of you in the aisle so that you will go into Dollar General wanting to buy Q-tips and end up with $600 worth of stuff. Okay? So you've got to be careful when you go into those four places because they are masters at marketing. They know what people will grab up and buy on impulse. Make a budget and don't overspend it. And that's what we're doing. That's that project. Be aware of what you're spending. Okay, this is what they're talking about, and I'm not gonna. We're gonna get into this in 4D, but this says Cassie recently began keeping her spending under control, but she still can't fully pay off her credit card. Never get a credit card. She maintains an average monthly balance of $1,100, and her card charges or 24 interest rate, which is billed at a rate of 2% per month. How much is she spending on the credit card interest? Well, you take 2%, use the Walmart equation basically, and there is how much she's spending. $260 per year. Now, what is the two traps of three? There's three traps of credit cards. What are they? The three traps of credit card is
the interest rate?
slash minimum payment. Okay? That's one trap. Well, that's two traps. The interest is, if you get a credit card and they stay at about 4 to 8% interest, you're okay. 4 to 8% interest, you're okay. But when you get one and it shoots up to 21%, as soon as you buy something, you need to close that account out because that's a ripoff. Minimum payment. Should or should you not pay the minimum payment? You never pay the minimum payment. You always pay what?
Matt.
More than the minimum payment. Because if you pay the minimum payment on a credit card, you're going to be paying forever on that credit card. Third, what happens when you go over the limit?
Overdraft.
You get fees. And those fees can be $30 to $35 just because you charged over the limit. There's the three traps of credit cards. A credit card through your bank is about the only credit card you need. These people that get credit cards with belts and you're just asking for it. Four-step budget making process. Determine your average monthly income. Be sure to include anything that comes in. Anything. Determine your average monthly expenses. Now, this doesn't have to be rocket science. You know how much you spend on electricity. You know how much you spend on groceries. You know how much you spend on the water bill. Round up or down, I don't care what you do. But you can do this in your head. You don't have to write it down. Now, this is where you get into champagne taste and a beer budget. You are all students. Should you be talking about stuff that's flamboyant and stuff that is out of reach? No, you shouldn't be. You should be talking about basic what? Needs. Roof over your head, a phone, internet, computer, books, tuition. Should you be worried about a vacation? No. Should you be worried about going by Starbucks every morning and getting a $6 to $10 drink? No. If you are trying to save money. Now, if you're not, then not have at it. Buy $10 drinks every morning. I don't care. But you've got to put yourself in a context of, am I trying to save money or am I trying to spend money? Determine your net monthly cash flow by subtracting your total expenses from your total income. If you make $1,000 a month and you bring in $600 of expenses, then you have $400 that you can what? Budget out. $100 for going to the movies, $100 for going to get your nails done, or $100 for haircuts, or whatever you want to, and $100 for gas, or $100 for this, or $100 for that. That's what you do. You take the surplus and you divide it up with things that you want. If there is no surplus, then you eat peanut butter sandwiches. That's the difference between a champagne taste and a beer budget. If you got champagne taste, then you need to marry Bill Gates or one of those millionaires. Get you a sugar daddy. Okay? And be mistreated all your life. Okay? In addition to your monthly expenses, you have the following college expenses that you pay twice a year. $3,500 for tuition each semester, $750 in student fees, blah, blah, blah. How should you handle these expenses in computing your monthly budget? Well, you should consider these every 6 months is a semester, 750, so you should figure this in a year and divide by what? 12. So you would take 3,500, that's 7,000, 1,400, somebody help me out here, that'd be 8,400, 9,200, somebody take 9,200 and divide by 12. Somebody do that on your calculator right quick. 9,200 divided by 12.
766.7.
So you need to put about $800 back a month for school. That's how a budget works. Okay, I was a little bit off. What'd you say? 800? I must have didn't add right. 3,500 times 2 is 7,000. That's 8,400. Oh, I didn't do 800 times 2. 8,400 and 600, okay, it's 10,000. So take 10,100 and divide by 12.
$841.
841.
There you go. So you need to put back next year, you're going to school this year, next year you need to put back $842 a month for college. Okay? Now that's if you're paying your own way. If you're working 50 hours a week and you're paying your own way to college, then you're going to put back $800 a month. Somehow, some way. If you're on Pell Grant or scholarship, you don't have to worry about it that much. But what if you have a $500 rent and you have a $200 a month bill, electric bill, and what else you have? Groceries is $50 a month. You take that, divide by 12, and that's what you have to make each month. You have to at least make that to make, to have a roof over your head, to have electricity, to have water. Everybody with me? And to have groceries. Okay, you've got to have that. So that's how I don't have it, so I got to get another job, or I got to get a better job. Or I wait for Bernie to take care of me and spend $15, and that way I don't have to go back and get another job and make more money, or go back to school and make more money. I don't have to better myself. I'll just do, the Bernie plan. Across all institutions, I'm not going through another one of these. I think y'all get the point. Let's see where we can get into another part. Insurance. This is another thing that people don't understand. Insurance is just like a bank. What do they do with your premiums when you give them $500 every 6 months? Do they put it in a savings account or do they invest it? They invest it. They invest it. They take that money and they invest it. And they give you back your $500 if they need to, but whatever they made while that 6 months that you give that $500, that goes in their pocket. And it goes into a big chest to where if you make a claim, they pull that money out of that chest. Because there is no way in Hades that Farm Bureau could have $500 a month coming in and pay the claims that they pay. They have to take that $500 every 6 months and they have to invest it and make 50 cents on a dollar at least so they can put that in the chest in case they have a what? A claim. Same thing with the banks. The banks take your IRA money, your savings account money, your CD money. If you got a $500 CD, that $500 is not sitting in the bank. That $500 is invested in the stock market. And then when you pull in your interest of $1,500 and you want to pull out your $2,000, the bank may have made $1,500 on that $2,000. So you got to remember, banks and insurance companies, they're in the same business. And I bet some of y'all didn't even know that they invest your money. I'll guarantee you somebody didn't know that. A deductible, the amount you're personally responsible for before the insurance company will pay anything. Some of y'all know this. What about your phones? What if you bust your phone up? What do you got to pay? A deductible. Okay, if you have insurance on your phone. My phone is $100, and what does everything cost on this phone? $100. So if I pay $100 deductible, they're going to replace anything on my phone. But everything's pretty much $100. Because I always ask them, what's the screen cost if I don't pay a deductible? $100. So they got you either way. So a deductible, if you get insurance on your car, like maintenance insurance, and the transmission goes out, you might have a $500 deductible. The $500 you pay them, they pay for the transmission. Everybody with me? That's called a deductible. A copayment, that's what you do with your medication. If you're diagnosed with coronavirus and you're going to die in 12 weeks and there's no cure, then you don't have to worry about a copayment. But if you've got, I don't know, allergies, and you go to the doctor and the doctor writes you a prescription for a extra strength Claritin that you get behind the counter, and your insurance pays $50 and it's $70, you pay $20. That's a copayment. And I don't know how many of you know this, but some of you don't. So that's why I'm going over it. Just wait till we get to the depression section. That's 4D. And I'm not going to go through this. It says, suppose you have an accident and end up with emergency room receiving a $7,000 bill for your treatment. Fortunately, you have health insurance, but your policy, let me talk about this for a minute. It says fortunately. Okay, fortunately here. Now, you know I stay up with I try to stay up. But you know why you fortunately have health insurance? You got a good dang what? How do you get health insurance when you get out of college? Or get out of school? How do you get good health insurance?
Your job.
Credit.
You get a good what? What'd you say?
Job.
A good job. Okay, I want to go back a little bit. How do you get a good job?
College.
Credit.
You get a good, you go to Lakeside over here and get you a diploma in welding, or you go to Tri-County Tech and get you a diploma in nursing, whatever, or health field. You go to college and get you an engineering degree, but you made a good what after you got out of high school?
Decision.
You made a good what? What'd you say?
Decision.
You're racist. You made a good decision. All right?
That's exactly what I said.
I know that you're racist. If you make a good decision, then you got good chances of getting a good what?
Job.
If you get a good job, then you have good intention, or you got a good chance of getting good what? So I don't like that word, fortunately. I don't like that. I like to say, because you make good-ass decisions, you have good health insurance. Okay? And that's why I commend anybody that goes to school, goes to Lakeside over here. When I say Lakeside, what's that place called over here? The Institute of something, 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 something. Okay? There's high school students going over there to learn what? Vocations. That's a great thing. Okay? Because they're going to get out. Some of those kids over there are going to make $70,000 a year because they're doing things that a lot of people don't want to do, or it's too complicated to do. Like robotics and mechatronics and doing the hairstyling thing. There's some people over there doing that. They've got all kinds of different things. You don't have to have a college degree. You just got to do better than the status quo. And that's why I don't like that word, fortunately. I think make good decisions, you have good health care. Okay? and your policy has a $1,000 annual deductible, a $250 copayment for emergency room visit, and pay only 80% of the remaining balance. How much will you have to pay, assuming you have blah, 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 blah. Okay? So you just got to take all that into account. Okay, let's do the first part will be $7,000 bill. You only pay $1,000. 250 copayment, and you pay $2,400. Okay? Now, again, I'm not just going to say this for a job. Okay? My sister, health sucks. Okay? Everybody with me? What has my sister not done with her? What has she not done? She hasn't made good what? Decisions with her health. She hasn't. Okay? She's diabetic. She's got heart problems. She's got high blood pressure. Why? Because she has made the decisions that she's made. Y'all ever heard the story of the grasshopper and the ant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, tell me the story. Run down. Just you don't have to, give me the details. Just tell me the gist of the story.
Like one stored up for like the preparing for the winter and stuff, and then like the other one did not, and so wasted his life. I think that's the grasshopper, and then the ant.
Yeah,
was
the
one that
grasshopper
was
just played.
Yeah.
How many of you know people in high school that you graduated with that wanted to play and keep playing like they did in high school? I know people like that. I know people that still cruise the mall, and they're 53 years old. Okay, you know people like that, don't you? Y'all know people like that, don't you? Where are they going to be in 50 years? Probably dead. Why? Why? Because of what? Bad decisions. So, I'm just telling you, I don't care if it's health, I don't care if it's employment, I don't care if it's insurance. You are a product of your decisions. And if your decisions have put you in a ditch, then you got to make better what? Decisions, period. That's it. I'm through. Next. Find a way to make your budget allow for savings. Understand how savings work and how to choose appropriate savings plans. Is any savings plan good? Yes.
No.
It's not? Okay. I think anything, well, let me put it to you this way. Anything that you do with a bank savings plan is good. I know what you're probably saying. If you put it in a jar in the backyard, yeah, that's not good. Okay? But an IRA, a 401k, and a CD, those are the three best. Besides investing yourself. And the only thing you do invest in yourself, you run a risk of losing your butt if you don't know what you're doing. So if you want to be safe, CD, IRA, 401k. And I would tell you this, whenever you graduate, whether you graduate over at the vocational school, or whether you graduate here, or whether you get a degree at another college and graduate, the first day you sign a contract with your employer, you go to personnel and you say, hey, look, I want to start a 401k. I want to start an IRA. I want to start this. I want to start something. And then you forget about it. I forgot about mine because it burns a hole in my pocket. And I just forget about mine. I act like I can't get mine. I tell myself, I got to get the whole lot of paperwork to get my money out of mine. And it's worked. For 25 years, I haven't touched my 401k here at Tri-County because I've told myself that it's a pain in the butt to get money out of. And therefore, when I retire or whenever I need it, I'll have it. Okay? Understand the mathematics of loans. We're going to do that in chapter 4 when y'all get depressed. Understand how taxes are computed. We'll do that in section E. When you give up, let's say that Miss Jeter, let's say she goes out and she says, well, I don't understand why this is like this. So I'm going to invent something. And she invents the next widget. And Miss Jeter makes $1 million a year off of that widget. You know how much Uncle Sam gets? Up to 49%. 49%. Is that fair? I don't think it's fair. I don't think you should be given half your paycheck just because you made a lot of money. Okay, anyway. But they've come down, the tax brackets has come down. I think it's 39% now. Okay? But should Miss Jeter be penalized because she was innovative, creative, and she made a lot of money? Should she be penalized? I don't think so. But, you know, there's this thing called big government. If you kind of trim the big government down, you won't need as many taxes to operate the government. Give everybody a dang old job. But that's just me. Understand how the federal budget brings in money from your taxes. That's what I was just talking about. Okay?
Hugo,
So
what
that's
does
the first
FICA
section.
mean?
Yes, ma'am. What?
What does FICA mean?
FICA is what comes out of your paycheck. That comes out of your paycheck. It's called the federal monies. And we're going to get into that in E. It's like 7% of your paycheck. So if you make $100, $7 is going to go to FICA. Or something like that. Yeah. No, that's 10%. It'd be like, let's see, $100 would be $10. Yeah, $7. It'd be about $7. That'd be right. So every $100 you make, a certain portion of that goes to the government along with your federal and state income tax. So we'll get to that in that section. That's a good question. A lot of people ask that question. Just wait till we get to the depression section and the income tax section. Y'all gonna have your eyes are gonna be opened, and you're gonna go home and be depressed. Now they give you the good stuff first. They give you power of compound. This is savings accounts. Okay, so you need to write this stuff down because this is your first test questions right here. I'm not going to test you on that first section because a lot of that you should know. Okay, now this is the stuff that I'm going to test you on. Compound. What is the principal? Principal, just like your principal at high school. The principal is what you are putting in. So if you put $5,000 in a savings account, the principal is $5,000. So you need to write that down. That's what you put in. Whether it's a savings account or a loan principal, if you borrow $20,000, the principal is $20,000. It depends on what formula you're using, but the principal is the whole clump of money that's being used. If it's a loan, it's $20,000. If it's putting $5,000 in the bank account, it's $5,000. Simple interest. Simple interest is what I like to tell students, friends, and family. My father liked to help people. That's one of his problems. He liked to help a lot of people. And a lot of people took advantage of it. But every once in a while, somebody would come to my father and want to buy a piece of property. Like an acre. Okay? And my father would sell it to them and say, 5 years, simple interest at 10%. Simple interest means at the end of the 5 years, you pay 10% on what you borrowed. What is simple interest? Simple interest is what you use with friends and family. Okay? Just to pay for you not having that money in your pocket. Because if they're borrowing that money, it's not in your what? It's not in your pocket. So you got to get some money from that. and simple interest. So let's say I let Mr. Poor borrow $1,000, and at the end of the year, I want 5% interest. Then he borrows $1,000, and he gives me the $1,000 back. But what's 5% of $1,000? Well, 10% is 100, so 5% would be 50. He gives me $1,050 at the end of the year. Does everybody understand that?
Yeah.
That's simple interest. That's what you do with friends and family. Okay? You're not gouging them, but you're letting them borrow the money. Now, should you let, number one rule of borrowing money, should you let friends and family borrow money?
No.
Hell to the no. Okay? I was selling some property, and my cousin, who likes to farm, bless his heart, we tried talking him out of it. He likes to row crop, and he wanted to buy that land. And I said, fine, buy it. I'll take $10,000 an acre. And of course, he didn't want to give that. So he said, well, let's get it down to a price, and can I pay by the month? I said, hell to the no. He looked at me like, huh? I said, I'm not making the same mistake my daddy did. And what happens if he misses a payment and I get the land back? If I draw up a contract, then his aunt and his mother, which is my aunt, will hate me for the rest of my life. Everybody see what happens? That's what happens when you let people borrow money. You've got to be careful who you let borrow money. And compound interest, that's what the banks do. And that's what we're going to study. Now, go ahead and write that down, but that's where we're going to end today. Because I don't want to strain y'all's brains too much. Y'all still got a test. When's the test due?
Monday.
Okay. All right. So y'all still got Monday to get your test done. So y'all got that to worry about. So I'm going to be easy on you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I should just make y'all do more homework.
That's
Let's go to the handy dandy. Let me turn the order off.